Hi, and welcome to the Scarf Bagar War this week. And we're going to be previewing the Port Vale game on Monday evening. And I've got Andy from Ale and the Vale Pod. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. The week's been a bit crazy so far, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So good to have you on. It's been a long time since we've properly played Port Vale. Back in the 90s, we played you, seemed to be all the time. But I was having a look, and we've not played in the league since the 2010-11 season, and then I think before that it was the 2004-5 season. So we played you 2 times in the league in 20 years. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been crazy. There've been like 2 very different paths diverging.
Yeah.
For each club, and County fought their way back, leapfrogged us a couple of years ago, and now we very strangely for us bounced back at the first time of asking after relegation. So it's good to renew acquaintances. I remember I was about 13 years old that season when we played each other twice in the league, twice in the playoffs, and then in the Autoglass final. So it's about 3 times in 10 days. So yeah, I mean there were crazy times. Great, good sides. Really iconic sides. 2 very iconic managers for each club, and that's good to see County back. And for me particularly, it's probably my nearest away day as well from where I live. So that's good.
Yeah, because you live quite locally, don't you? Is that right?
Yeah, I live in Manchester. It's
Yeah.
Chorlton, so it's a very easy 23 bus for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I remember those games. I think I blocked it out of my memory. But the year of the Autoglass, I think it was the Autoglass Trophy final or Auto Windscreen Shield. I can't quite remember when you beat us at Wembley. But I forgot you actually beat us in the playoffs the week before as well.
Yeah. And I wasn't really relishing Stockport because I think we'd not managed to beat you either time in the league. You beat us at Edgeley Park, and very early on in the season it was a 0-0 draw. So we always tended to struggle. There were a lot of big physical players. It was a challenge. You've got to deal with Francis. Gannon was always very good at set pieces. Priest was tricky. There were so many decent players in that County side, and I wasn't relishing that at all. But we got the draw at Edgeley Park, and we nicked it with a very late goal in the second leg.
Yeah, absolutely. And a bit of a shame that for us, but good for you guys. And again, likewise, you had some good players back then. I think is it Bernie Slaven and Martin Foyle, Liam Taylor, people like that.
Yeah, Martin Foyle, absolute legend for us. He got a testimonial, did 10 years. There was, like I said, there was so many iconic players from that generation of County and Vale, Foyle, Slaven, Peter Swan in the centre of defence. He was a bit of a nutter. Muscle White in goal, who was one of the longest serving keepers.
And you had a Dutch guy as well, didn't you? Was it Van
der Laan? Yeah, with
yeah.
his big blonde hair. Yeah. So it was, and for me at that age, it was such a massive. I was at the age where you're massively into your football, and it was just part and parcel of. I don't know, when you get iconic sides, when you can name your favorite 11 or 11 from a certain time in your life when you're absolutely, you're obsessed with football. That's pretty much my era for things like that. So that's pretty much what I think of when I think of County, is that Danny Bagara side, and Neil Edwards in goal, probably the shortest player on the pitch, but and then there's a load of giants in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we kind of played different styles of football back then. I think you guys probably kept on the deck a little bit more than we did. But it was kind of needs must at the time. But we did have a few ball players as well, with like David Frayne on the side and Peter Ward. I can't remember if that was a similar time, but no, good times. So in terms of you guys now, I mean, obviously we've not played you for a long time, apart from obviously there was a game a couple of years ago, wasn't there, in the Papa John's Trophy. But what's kind of been going on off the pitch? Because I think you had trouble with administration, didn't you, one year, similar to we did?
Yeah, we had administration in about 2003, and then again in 2011. I think just the season after you would have last played us. There was a time when the fans were at the and the owners were at each other's throats, and off the back of that, there was well, without getting too much into boardroom politics, there were some dodgy characters who got themselves
Mhm.
voted onto the board, awarded themselves shares without paying for them, and there was a black hole in the accounts, and it ended up with the club going into administration. Out of the frying pan into the fire, we had an owner who, although we got out of League Two at the first time of asking, was a bit of an idiot, and it's taken us until 2019. We've got the current owners for about 6 years now, and they're a lot more sensible, a lot more community focused, and it feels as though what we're doing as a club in the community, growing a fan base, it's a lot more organic, it's a lot more sustainable, and we're not, you know. They've put a decent amount of money in. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that, it's on the similar levels to what Vita are putting into county, but it's respectable. But it's not just throwing money at it for money's sake. It's we are looking to build a club and do things for the community as well. So I'm quite happy with the way the ownership's going. I think there's been one or two mistakes, obviously. What led us to getting relegated a couple of seasons ago wasn't pretty, but uh, it's happened. We've come back at the first attempt, and now we're just trying to consolidate in League One, which is really going to be the priority for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bizarrely as well. The season you went into admin, which was I think 2011, you said that was our last win in the league against you guys at your place.
I
I think you
did
hammered us.
notice that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you
it
hammered us
was.
at home 5-0, but we beat you at your place 2-0.
Yeah, there was a sending off. I remember that game very well because my mate had 4-0 as a bet, and he was coming in right until the last minute when I think we walked in a fifth. It was County played most of that game with 10 men. I think there was a red card and a penalty, and that was County looked in a very sorry state at that point. And I don't know if you were already relegated or as good as by the time we played the return game. It was about April, and I think you were a good way off safety. I think you knew you were going down, even if it
Yeah,
wasn't mathematically confirmed. And Gannon had come back, had he? I'm pretty sure Gannon was in charge for a little bit
yeah,
at the end of that
yeah. I
season.
think so. My memory's not that great to be honest, but
And it
yeah,
felt like Gannon was coming back and getting a little bit of revenge on us because between those two games, Jim Gannon had about a 40-day stint as Vale manager that went really
oh, he
horrendous.
did.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a famous kind of incident on the coach or something in some service station?
Yeah, Busgate at, I think it was Hill. Is it Hilton? No, not, I can't remember. It's basically in the Midlands anyway. It
Yeah.
was, they got as far as Birmingham going down to Aldershot one Friday afternoon. And Jim Gannon and his number two, who he'd inherited from Mickey Adams, Jeff Horsfield, um,
Hospital.
had
Yeah,
a massive argument. Jim had sort of, well, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but
yeah.
whatever happened ended up coming to a head on the team bus. Um, Gallon got threatened, got told he had to get off at the service days. Then next thing, Jeff Horsfield's phone goes and he's been advised to get off at the next stop after that. So that was
Yeah.
that felt like at that time it was just part of the course. When you're a bit of a soap opera of a club, just these things are just normal. So yeah, that was Vale back in those days.
Yeah. 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 I'd forgotten all about that. All about that. So in terms of this season, you kind of said, it's about consolidation. So how did it kind of go in the kind of summer transfer window in terms of bringing players in and you kind of obviously you probably don't know your full budget, but I mean, is it kind of a competitive budget to kind of aim for that kind of mid-table type of position?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at probably from about halfway to down to the bottom, I think it's very much of a muchness. I think that league is, and budget wise, probably a lot of teams are on roughly the same. I think
Yeah.
maybe one or two are on small. I think there's a a lot of people think that Exeter have got the lowest budget in the league. I've heard that said a couple of times, but I think there's a lot of teams that are more or less very similar to each other in terms of budget and probably quality of the squad. And I think the difference is maybe like a 20 goal a season striker can maybe sort of lift you out of that I don't know, that sort of blob of
Yeah.
mid-table teams.
It
So
it can be
that's
the difference, can't it?
yeah. So I think that's and that's how it's proven so far. We were well, performances results didn't match performances. I think we were playing well, but we didn't have anyone who could really stick it in the net and take a chances.
Yeah.
Then on deadline day, we signed Devante Cole, who much travelled striker, son of Andrew Cole, ex-Man United. You probably know all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got that extra bit of quality. You can tell he's a proper striker. He takes his chances well. His hold up play is very composed, and he just seems to be. For a while, it looked like we stopped being a team that had a lot of hard luck stories about playing well and not sticking the ball in the net. So he's been good. But then we had a run of 3 wins and 2 draws up until last week, where we went to Wigan, got it all wrong. They had a man sent off. We didn't use it properly. We made a few bad subs, bad decisions. He did a really sloppy goal. And it just goes to show really the difference between, I don't know, us playing well and us playing badly. I still think, he's a little bit fragile. We need to make sure we get the, get the points in the bag when the opportunities come. It's just about being ruthless in this division. And yeah, Cole is a main threat. I think he's, in terms of the quality of him compared to other strikers, we've got some okay ones, a couple of dodgy ones, but Devante Cole is going to be the difference between us staying up and going down, I think, ultimately.
Yeah. So in terms of players to watch and kind of before we come on to them, I mean, I had a look at your FOTMOB ratings for your players, and of Devante Cole was in there as the top 3, but your goalkeeper was in there, is it Connor Hall, and the other guy was Joe Gauchi. Is he centre back? Gauchi.
Connor Hall's a centre back. Joe Gauchi is a goalkeeper. We've got
the other way around. Sorry, yeah.
Australian international on loan from Aston Villa. He's been sensational. He's very. I mean, I'm going to give him the kiss of death here, but he generally comes and takes crosses really well. He reads the game, makes decent saves. Although he doesn't tend to make a lot of saves, we don't concede a hell of a lot of chances. Yeah. And the goals he has conceded quite often have been worldies in the right in the top corner. But he's very assured. Comes crosses, takes them. He's been a revelation since he came. Really happy with him. Connor Hall, one of the back 3. He got a bit of a stick at the weekend. He didn't have his greatest game, but he wins a lot of headers, makes a lot of clearances, does the nuts and bolts really. And we don't try and overcomplicate things too much at the back. A lot of that will depend on who's fit. We've got a bit of a run of bad injury luck, particularly in the wing-back position. Gabriel, who we signed from Blackpool, looks like he's out for quite a long time. And 1 or 2 others have been missing. Humphreys, we signed from Rotherham. He's looked classy, but he's missed the last couple. So we'll see what sort of team we can sort of patch up and put out. It's just obviously. I think you look at the midfield, and I'm sure you know all about Ryan Croasdale.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I'm sure the Stockport fans want to know how he's doing. He was a bit of a legend at our place. We absolutely loved him. And, from our perspective, that guy gives 100% every single game. And he does for us, he did the simple stuff well and never really kind of stood out. He just did everything well. He broke down the play. He did the simple passes. He popped in with a couple of goals as well. But he was great for us. I kind of just wondered how he was doing for you guys.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He won Player of the Year last season for us. and it's basically for this job that you all know what he can do.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Consistency rather than Mr. Spectacular, but he was playing week in, week out. Every time he looked like you thought he's been playing, he played solidly over Christmas and New Year when you think, oh, we're rotating quite a lot of players, but he's playing every game. Maybe he needs a rest, but no, he just kept carrying on, and
Yeah.
he stayed fit for most of the season when we had a few injury problems. When he just kept turning out, yeah, he gets us out of trouble. He plays the simple balls. His work off the ball is phenomenal, and he's also a little bit underrated in what he does in and around the box as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes his first touch that gets him in on goal is really clever. I'm a big fan of his, and I'm delighted they got it Player of the Year, because players like him don't always get the recognition they deserve, and
Yeah.
it's real sort of football fans know what he does, and I'm delighted that you've got two sets of supporters that really understand that, and they recognise his game.
And didn't he, if I remember correctly, did he win three lots of Player of the Year? Was it?
Yeah, I think there
Yeah.
was the official one, and then there's some other. I can't remember exactly everything, but might have been Player of the Year, and I don't know if there was an unofficial supporters one. But yeah, he pretty much swept the board because partly because some of the bigger players didn't necessarily have a full season. There was a lot of injuries, players dropping out for a couple of months at a time, left, right, and centre. He stayed fit and he stayed consistent, and that is ultimately what saw us through. And I'm delighted that he's stuck at it in League One as well. I don't know what the rationale was behind County letting him go, but if there are any doubts about him not being quite up to League One, I think he might even be looking to prove one or two people wrong on Monday. Sorry.
Yeah, Monday. I still can't get used to the fact it's on Monday. Yeah, I mean, you probably, like I say, he was a bit of a legend at our place. He was part of that team that brought us up through, for non-league, and he was an outstanding player. And I'm just glad he's doing really well at another club, because all we wanted to do was see him do well. And hopefully he'll have a quieter game on Saturday if he plays. Because did he play in the last game? I had a look at the
No,
team sheet. Yeah,
we shook it up a little bit.
yeah,
I think we tried to play. We've signed a player from Birmingham called George Hall, who's a
mm,
bit more of a number 10 or attacking midfielder, although it didn't quite click. We tried to sort of move it around a bit. We've got other midfielders. Ben Garrity's a captain. He's just come back from, well, he got injured at the end of last season, probably did a lot of his recovery during the preseason, so he's had a slow start to this season, maybe not being at his best, but he's a club captain, and we've got a very good record of generally winning games when he's on the pitch. The difference between him being in the side and not being on the side in terms of when we win and when we don't there's some great stats about that. So he's very much a leader and a talisman. George Byers, who used to play for Sheffield Wednesday, he's been a fixture pretty much permanently in that midfield. And we've got a lot of decent players who don't seem to be able to get on the pitch in midfield. Croasdale was rested or benched on Saturday. He may well come back in now because it didn't go particularly well with the players we picked. I don't know. That's something Darren Moore will have to sort out. But we've got other players who could easily walk into that side who are struggling to get a game. So Funzo Ojo is a bit of a veteran now, you could say. He's looked absolute quality when he's played, but he can't even get on the bench the last few weeks. And Reese Walters, a young player who has been on the bench, he's possibly most saleable asset when the time comes. I expect him to go for a 7-figure sum, but Moore seems to be holding him back a little bit. Just I don't know if he's just sort of managing his game time with him being a teenager, but he looks like he's going to be a very, very good player at some point in the future.
So in terms of, I mean, the season so far, you've had a few kind of mixed results. But I was listening to another pod, and they were basically saying, you don't let many goals in. They're usually tight games, and they're kind of expecting you to go on a bit of a run soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Saturday, but everyone soon. So in terms of when we do play, I call it Saturday again, Monday.
Yeah.
In terms of Monday, what will we expect to see in terms of the style of play, and what type of formation would we expect to see?
It's hard to say really in terms of style because Darren Moore isn't really a manager who you can say he plays this way or he's got this sort of style. I think he's very pragmatic and he'll do what he can to sort of win games. He generally plays what we call these days a low block, so he likes to sit deep and he can soak up pressure if they need to. Formation wise, it'll be very much a wing back 3-5-2, I'd expect. I don't know. We haven't really been playing much of like the midfield as like a triangle or a 2 and a 1. It's been mainly a flat 3, and I think that's maybe sort of blunted us a little bit attacking wise, but we've maybe been a bit more solid in the middle. So that's how I expect. I expect us to, I think we'll be expecting a much harder the game on Monday than what we've maybe had quite a lot of the seasons. Only really Cardiff is one of the top teams. Well, Stevenage also, if they last the course, I don't know. But yeah, Cardiff was a first home game. We got a 0-0 draw. We were disciplined. We stayed in a decent shape for that. I expect probably will be going with something similar again. And also, you look at the Arsenal game. I think we'll be. I think we'll be looking to keep it tight. I don't think we'll be going all out and playing gung ho stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we also played kind of a 3-5-2 kind of formation. He's sticking with wing backs. It seems to be what he wants to do. Also, same as you, we've had horrific injuries. We brought in a new wing back. He got injured before the season started, so he's not kicked a ball yet. We replaced him with Owen Dodgson on loan from Burnley, and he got injured, so he's out. Fortunately for us, we then on deadline day we brought in Ben Osborne, who's a midfielder, played with Ollie Norwood at Sheffield United. He's currently at Derby, and he can play left wing. So since he's come in, he's played every position at left wing back. But I think long term, they see him as playing in midfield. But he's a good player. So that should be interesting. And then kind of up front, we're likely to have maybe 2 up front. And it's the guy from your local neighbours will be up front, I would think, Nathan Lowe.
Yeah, he was sensational. This side of Christmas for Walsall last year, and then Stoke did us a massive favour when they recalled him, and Walsall absolutely fell apart. That was the icing on the cake, really, given that we have a bit of a historic rivalry with them going back to the 70s.
So they've
pretty
helped you
much.
in a way.
Yeah, and that it was. Quite frankly, it was hilarious watching them throw a promotion away. But he seems to be. I mean, I don't know. He's obviously too good for League Two. I've seen. He gets. Did he score last week?
He did. So that was. I think that was his second league. I think he scored away early on in the season, but it's not quite clicked for him yet. He's improving, but he's kind of. I don't know. He's not firing on all cylinders yet, but that was he scored a lovely header last week. And
he got some in one of the cups, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got 5 for the season, so I think he's got 3 in the cups, and he's playing a slightly different position than what he's used to. I think he's used to being the point man up front, and he's kind of playing off Kyle Wootton. So he's having to learn kind of a slightly different position. So you can tell he's working it out. But he's a quality player and he's got a quality finish. He's a very good finisher.
Yeah, one thing I noticed from Walsall is that they never seem to have a lot of possession, a lot of chances, but when they'd be under the cosh or something, they'd break away and he seemed to nick a goal for them so many times last season. They'd nick 1-0 wins here and there, and he just have that knack of being able to take the one chance when it came. So we'll know all about him. I mean, Walsall knocked us off the top last December in a game during a storm. It was absolutely horrendous conditions. And then we knocked them off the top back in April when we had the return game. So it's funny how those things worked out. It was very poetic the end of last season. I really enjoyed it.
Football's a funny old game, isn't it? I mean, before we come on to your kind of prediction for the game, I was kind of having a look at players that have kind of played for both teams over the years, and there's not been a tremendous amount, to be honest. There's obviously Croasdale and Chris Hussey, who we took after you. You
Oh
guys
yeah,
come to us, and he was great, by the way. He did really well for us.
he was. Yeah, he got a lot of people at the club really liked him. They said he was a really good professional. I think his legs were going a little bit,
Yeah,
just which was a shame, really, because and I don't know if we were probably asking him to do a lot at left wing back, which it's a big ask of somebody who may, you've got to be very fit to play left wing back
yeah.
in the we had. But his delivery at set pieces was, I'm sure is second to none. Really, he was
Yeah, and bit of the dark arts as well. He was good at kind of winning fouls and feigning injury and stuff. But the one other player I kind of just wanted to mention was he was one of my favourite kind of wingers. Is John Jeffers. Unfortunately, passed
oh
away a
yeah,
few
yeah,
years ago, but a bit of a legend for you guys as well, I think.
he was. Yeah, he was very much an iconic part of. Well, he joined. I think he joined during the '89 promotion season, and then he was part of our promotion season in '93, '94. And yeah, he was very much an old fashioned winger. He's a bit of
Yeah,
a frustrating winger in the way he used to sort of try and beat his man and then beat him again. And there was a cartoon in one of the fanzines about how he was responsible for making crop circles just by the way he used to run around the pitch. But yeah, everybody loved John Jeffers. He was, and he's part of that side who was my side when I first started going to watch the Vale. So
yeah.
it was sad when and when he did leave, it was because we'd just signed Steve Guppy from Newcastle,
Oh yeah.
and we ended up selling him for nearly £1 million to Leicester. So, and he went on to have a very good career. So it was just his time was over, and I know he went to county, and he was part of that promotion side, wasn't he, at
Yeah, he was.
Chesterfield?
Yeah, he was great. I'm pretty sure he started in the game at Chesterfield when we won promotion. I like I say, I was a huge fan of him. I think he got injured near the end of his time with us, and I think he went out on loan, but then he retired. And then, like I say, unfortunately, kind of sad news a few years ago, we passed away early, didn't he, after a long illness, which was such a shame.
Yeah, it was just came as I remember just seeing it, and I
Mm,
think it was that January, February when we got into lockdown again, and it came as a massive shock,
yeah,
really,
yeah,
and
yeah, us too.
yeah,
Yeah,
not very nice at all.
yeah, great player though, great player. So
Yeah.
on to Monday night. What are you expecting in terms of a result?
I'm expecting a really tough test. I think
Yeah,
County probably should be among there or thereabouts, particularly after last season. I think, there've been obviously players who've been sold and moved on, but I think you've done decent business. I expect you to do decent business again in January if you're in the mix. I think, you've got I'm not going to say you're absolutely money bags, but there's funds there, isn't there? I think
yeah,
the chairman supports the club very well,
yeah.
so I'm expecting County to be there and thereabouts, and I'm expecting a decent test. So I would be happy with a good battling point. We may even take the lead, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw if you had to push me.
Right. So I mean, yeah, we're not scoring a lot. That's our kind of Achilles heel at the moment. We always score, but we don't score a lot, and we rarely score more than one. And the kind of good news for us is we are keeping a lot of clean sheets lately. So hopefully, from our perspective, we can keep a clean sheet and get that one goal. But we shall see.
Yeah, I did notice that since was it the Plymouth game? I think he's I think that was 4-2, was it?
Yeah, we lost 4-2. I went to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because we just sold a striker to Plymouth, and he scored an absolute beauty against you.
Oh, I didn't realize he came from you guys. But
Talai,
yeah,
Lauren Talai, yeah, he was.
yeah,
We sold him. Plymouth came in with something like 1.2 million. It's reported to be. It triggered a release clause, so we
yeah,
had to sell, and we got Devante Cole in as a replacement, which isn't bad at all. But yeah,
yeah.
his goal, I think from a goal kick, he just kills the ball stone dead and turns and hits it. He was a great player. The fans loved him, and now sort of they don't. They feel very betrayed. He's going
Yeah,
to
I
get a
can
good
imagine.
reception in a few weeks. But yeah, I think since then, I think your form's been very good. Particularly goals against. It's just and that's not a bad sign, really. If you want to go up,
Yeah. You've got to
you
keep
need.
it tight, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it will come. You're generally scoring more than you concede, which is a good sign. I
Yeah.
do, like I said, I do expect County to be in the mix. I think it's a very not. Yeah, I suppose it is an open league, but I think there's no head and shoulders team that's going to go out and absolutely run away with it. I also think there's a lot of teams who are a little bit in a false position, too high and also too low,
Yeah.
and it hasn't settled down this league table at all
Yeah.
yet. I
It's
don't
going
think.
to take a couple of months yet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Are you going to the game on Monday?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
to. It's a bit of a pain with it being a Monday night. I've got to um, find a way after work and get a late train back, probably with a load
Yeah.
of County fans on it as well. But
A
um,
completely random question, but what's the situation for parking for any fans traveling over?
I don't know. Since they've swapped home and away ends a couple of seasons ago, I'm not entirely sure where. I think it's all at a leisure centre, which is just on the road towards Tunstall. It's at a place called Dimensions.
Okay.
So I think that is where a lot of the parking is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs to be sort of that side on Scotia Road. It's called. So probably yeah. Check what they put out on. I'm sure the police will put something out on the
Yeah.
official channels. But yeah, if you're not aware, and it's going to be a long time since you've been anyone's been at Vale, that yeah, you are in the Bicars, which is used to be the home stand, and they have swapped it around
Right.
now. So
Okay.
so it might take a little bit of getting used to. It's not the nicest of stands. It's the toilets are a little bit. Basically, it used to be a terrace, and then they just built a roof, plonked it on the top of what was already there. So there's some very old toilets. It's not brilliant,
That's not
but
going to bother us. We spent a few years in non-league, so that's not going to bother us at all. Don't worry about that. Look, fantastic to have you on, Andy.
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, really enjoyed talking to you. If you want to find your pod, where can they find it?
It's on all the major things. I think it's on Acast as well,
Yeah,
part of the Talksport network, I believe. But yeah, it's just Ale and Vale Pod on the socials, and yeah, just search on whatever it is,
yeah.
Apple, Spotify, the usual places. You'll find us talking nonsense.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do as well. We have a chat about football, and that's all that matters, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
look, fantastic, Andy. Thanks so much. Good luck for the rest of the
Oh,
season.
cheers! It's been lovely talking.
Yeah,
All the best. Yeah.
yeah. You too. Cheers,
All
mate.
right then.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.